Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Triple Rivals of Ixalan. Without further ado, let's get into the draft. We've got some pretty good commons here. Not a huge fan of the uncommons or the rare. Admiral's Order is basically just a cancel, because it's very narrow that your opponent's going to cast something on your turn after you've declared an attack. In that case, it's just like a negate for combat tricks or instant speed removal, so that's not the greatest, and these uncommons are mainly just fine. The creatures themselves are both pretty fine, but the Flood of Recollection, I think, is just not the greatest in this format. Relentless Raptor is the strongest uncommon, but I'd rather just go for the strongest colorless, or not colorless, but mono-colored spell in the pack over the strongest multicolored spell, which would be Dusk Legion Zealot. It's just a great value play, drawing you a card when it hits the board, so that it's always a nice little 2-for-1. It's really good against, obviously, like 2-1 creatures and stuff like that. Pack 1, pick 2, we've got another excellent 2-for-1 play, this time at Uncommon with Crested Herdcaller. 5 mana for 2 3/3s with Trample, so 6 power and toughness for 5 mana is a pretty good deal, especially spread amongst 2 different bodies. Sea Red is also a pretty nasty trick if you are, well, not a trick, but a pretty nasty aura if you're on the aggressive. Makes it really, really hard for your opponent to find any profitable blocks on whatever you put this on, so that can shred your opponent's life total real quick. The problem is it's very narrow. You have to keep attacking to keep it on the board, but it's super explosive when you just play that turn 3 on your 2-drop or something. But we're going to take the Crested Herdcaller here. For pack 1, pick 3, we've got a Guiltgrove Stalker, which is a very hard to block green common. Gets past a lot of the tokens and stuff in the format, so it plays pretty well. Dusk Charger is also nice. It's just beefy for the cost. It can be a 5/5 for 4 mana, which can be good. And we are potentially heading into the just green-black deck, which doesn't really have any creature type synergies. It's just about, just value spells in general. 2-for-1s like the Zealot and the Herdcaller, just grinding out a good value game. And Dusk Charger could help out in that kind of deck, just being beef. So I kind of like that idea. Deadeye Righoller is one of the best mono-colored cards in the pack, just a great bounce spell when you've attacked in that turn. Pretty solid pack in general. I like the Righoller, the Charger, and the Guiltgrove Stalker. Recover's fine. It's a decent value play for this kind of deck, but I think we try to pick those up a little later. Pack 1, pick 4. Colossal Dreadmaw is a fine finisher. Trample is basically evasion. Makes it so your opponent can't just chump block your Dreadmaw. You will get a bunch of damage in with it later, so that's fine. We could also speculate on a Traveler's Amulet, but I'm not super excited about anything else here. Probably best card would be like Forerunner of the Empire if we end up in like red-green dinos. But I'm pretty happy with our black spells here to stick to just green-black value town. Pick number 5. Okay, here's a card I really, really like, which is Squire's Devotion. This is an excellent aura, gives something +1/+1 in lifelink, which is really good on any evasive threats, but it makes it really hard for your opponent to outrace whatever you put it on, and you're getting 2 permanents off of this, which helps you get to the City's Blessing sooner, helps you get to 10 permanents. Plus, the creature provides is just an excellent chump blocker. I really like Squire's Devotion. Pick that up here, maybe for a splash or something, or we move to like black-white vampires or something. Pick 6, I'm not going to main deck a Naturalize or a Canal Monitor, so I'll take the random Vampire card. We do get pushed to black-white Vamps, that thing will be okay. Now we have a Sailor of Means out of blue. The treasure providing nature of that is pretty good. Jade Bearer is a green spell. It's only going to work if we end up in green-blue Merfolk, but it's like a 1-mana 2/2. If you have another Merfolk on the board, you're getting 2 power toughness off the 1 card, so it can play fine with cards like Mistcloaked Herald. If we get pushed to green-blue, I'll take the Jade Bearer here. Either way, we're taking something speculative. At least that's like half on color speculative. Pick number 8. Take a Sun Sentinel for a filler white card. Not too much else. I do like Soul of the Rapids as the top end in blue decks, but we're not touching blue at all right now. Pick number 9. Nothing here. Take a Firebrand. Pick number 10. All right, that's a pretty late Mistcloaked Herald. Maybe we do get to go to Blue-Green Merfolk and just play cards like Herd Caller as a good value play. We're definitely going to have to pick our lane in the start of pack 2. But if we open up like a great Merfolk rare or a great Vampire rare, that could be really helpful for us in just deciding exactly where we want to be. Pretty late Recover. Solid value play. In black. Random Soul the Rapids for the top end. If we do end up in blue-green, we get another Mistcloaked Herald. Let's go. Very good with our Jade Bearer. And let's see what we got. Pack 2, pick 1. We've got the Merfolk Mistbinder, and we got some Mistcloaked Heralds very late. We've also got Forerunner of the Legion. So we have the Black-White Vampire card, the Black-White Vampire Forerunner, or we have the Green-Blue Merfolk Lord. I think with these late Mistcloaked Heralds and just Mistbinder being super, super good, I want to go towards Green-Blue Merfolk over Black-White Vamps. I mean, the two decks I really want to do with this pile of cards is Green-Blue Merfolk or Green-Black Value. And the best card towards either of those decks here is easily Mistbinder to Green-Blue Merfolk. So I'm going to go that direction, but I think this would be a fine draft pod to go towards vampires as well. Well, this is awkward. None of these cards go into a Merfolk deck, so let me just pull these cards right back in, because I guess we're taking another Forerunner? Can also take Baffling End, though, for really good removal. There's also Squire's Devotion. There's like 3 excellent white cards here and just nothing good for blue-green Merfolk. You know what we could do? We could do Sailor of Means, and that helps us splash in a random white or black spell if we've got something we really want to splash in, like Squire's Devotion. Because I really don't want to just bounce back and forth for the entirety of pack 2 as well. So I'll take the Sailor, because it can absolutely make the cut in the Merfolk deck. Crested Herdcaller will very, very much make the cut. Excellent. Excellent value play, just a ton of beef for the cost. Pick number 4, there's the Jadecraft Artisan, there's the Waterknot for removal, there's Evolving Wilds for more fixing, or Sailor of Means for more fixing. Yeah, this is a fine pack. It's also Dusk Legion Zealot, though, if we just went on to Vampires. Could really have done either, it looks like. I think I'm going to grab Waterknot. I don't have any interaction right now. I have a deck of entirely creatures. So let's grab a little bit of interaction and grab that Waterknot. Pick number 5, another Jade Bearer looks great with the double Mistcloaked Herald. So we will grab that over the Waterknot this time, since we did take one of them at least now. The Dreadmaw to top off the curve, but I think I'd rather have a Foul Orchard for splashing in a bit of black for cards like Recover if we do want to do that. I don't think I'm playing double Dreadmaw in a Green-Blue Merfolk deck. I will absolutely play a Crashing Tide in a Green-Blue Merfolk deck. This is a great card already, just as a sorcery, and it's a very, very good instant. Bouncing your opponent's biggest threat and drawing a card? Don't mind if I do. Now we've got River Darter just to be a good creature type, or a pick 8 Dusk Legion Zealot? Criminally late Dusk Legion Zealot? Pretty happy with my Merfolk pile here. I'm gonna take a River Darter. I'm sticking to my guns. You're not taking me off Merfolk no matter what. Oh my god. Pick 10 Baffling End? Pick 8 Zealot, pick 10 Baffling End? It's a baffling draft pod. Pack 1, Merfolk looked really open, and now Pack 2, Vampires looks really open. Maybe it's just the directions we're getting passed from. In Pack 3, we get a bunch of Merfolk again, hopefully. I don't know. I just don't know. Alright, Pack 3, pick number 1. There are 0 Merfolk in this pack. You love to see it. Not only are we randomly getting past a ton of vampires, but we're also opening like one of the best vampire uncommons. Irritating. Expel from Erasca is an incredible bounce spell, though. So let's load up these non-creature slots. There we go. There's a premium Merfolk, Silvergill Adept, 2 mana, 2/1 that draws a card when it hits the board. Incredible value play, incredible deal in general. We just need 5 more playables here. We're hoping we get a few more than that so we can up our Merfolk count with some more premium Merfolk and cut like a Soul of the Rapids and a Colossal Dreadmaw. Maybe a Sailor Means or 2. There's a premium Merfolk, Jungleborn Pioneer, 3 mana for a 2/2 and a 1/1 hexproof. Excellent card for this deck. The Mist-Cloaked Herald is also great, but I think we gotta take the Pioneer over it. Yeah, here we go. This pack, we get all the goodies. Now we have a Hadana's Climb, which is a bomb rare. It's going to put a +1/+1 counter onto one of our creatures every turn. And once we have a creature with 3 or more counters on it, we just get to give something +X and flying every turn, where X is its power, which can just jump in for lethal in like one swing. Hadana's Climb is a great addition to our non-creature slots. Pack 3, pick 5 now, we get another River Darter. Even know if I want to play, I guess I can run them over the Sailor of Means now that we're not doing any splashing, probably. Yeah, this pack's much weaker than the first couple we got, but now there's another Mist-Cloaked Herald or a Deadeye Rig Hauler. I do quite like that raid ability from the Rig Hauler. I think it's worth taking over the Herald, because there was another Herald nice and early that might wheel back to us, and we've already got 2. Might be able to get a 3rd just from wheeling 1. So I don't think we need like 4. So let's take the Rig Hauler here for a 4-drop. Ooh, and a Forerunner of the Heralds. Very happy that it is what I thought it was. In that pack 2, we were going to see all the vampire stuff, and now pack 3, we get all the Merfolk. Because now we're getting passed from the same direction that we were during pack 1, so Merfolk seemed open pack 1 because we were getting passed from that direction, then didn't seem open pack 2 because we weren't getting passed from that direction, and now it looks open again because we're getting passed from the same direction that we were in pack 1, so that's great to see. And we get another Mist-Cloaked Herald, another Crashing Tide, beautiful little Merfolk deck. Things really shaped up in the end. We really could have been either. I mean, we really could have been. Pack 2 was an excellent pack for Pirates decks, or sorry, for Vampires decks. And now this pack 3 is just excellent for Merfolk, so we could have had a really solid deck in either archetype by the end of this draft. So I think, I don't know what my final cuts are. They're definitely creatures. We don't have that many non-creature spells here, but we've got a good amount of interaction. Waterknot plus 3 bounce spells is a solid count there. So we just cut a couple creatures, so it could just be the Sailor of Means for not being an important creature type. Could be some of the top end, like a Soul of the Rapids or Colossal Dreadmaw, to keep that curve a little lower. Yeah, those are the potential cuts, really. Just some combination of these cards. Kind of like dropping Soul of the Rapids and one of the Sailors. Still have one big Dreadmaw finisher. And then the Sailor can help get the mana to get to the Dreadmaw. If we draw the Wombo combo together, I guess. That's cute. We don't really have anything else to put in blue or green. I could splash in a Recover or something out of black. Not the greatest splash. No, we're just sticking to green-blue. I think we're just gonna call it a deck here. Here's a look at the final deck list for today. We're on a green-blue Merfolk deck with a pretty dedicated Mist-Cloaked Herald game plan. So we're planning on jamming this thing out in the early game and throwing some +1/+1 counters on it with cards like Jade Bearer, or buffing it up with cards like Merfolk Mistbinder and Hadana's Climb, so we can just get a ton of unblockable damage in throughout the game. We can also use the Jadecraft Artisans to buff them up and get some extra damage in there. So we're really putting a clock on our opponent with just some of our 1-drop creatures, and slowing them down with a bunch of bounce spells like Crashing Tide and Expel from Erasca, as well as removal like Waterknot. So while the Mist-Cloaked Herald's a pretty big part of this deck that can be a major game plan for us, we've also just got a solid curve of Merfolk in general, so we can get some extra damage in just attacking him with these. And we've got some decent top end as well, with some Crested Herd Collars to spam the board with a few Trampling Dinos, and the big old Colossal Dreadmaw to top it all off. So pretty nice looking green-blue Merfolk deck today. Very excited to see how it does. So without further ado, let's just head into the gameplay. Here we are for game one on the draw. We've got our game plan here. There's the Mist-Cloaked Herald and the Mist Binder to buff it up. Playing against a white deck. Had to double check with these Windows Vista looking lands. Martyr of Dusk, so mono white with Vampire out so far. Could definitely be black-white vampires, but the Martyr of Dusk is a great card in general, replacing itself with a 1/1 lifelinker when it dies, so it fits into almost any white deck, regardless of what creature type they might be focused on. Still mono white for now. And Legion Conquistador is the play. 3 mana 2/2, but it draws a bunch of other 3 mana 2/2s when they play it. Yep, that's a bunch of other 3 mana 2/2s. Well, I'm happy to have an unblockable creature here, because we're never going to break through the mountain of 2/2s that our opponent has. I guess we play a River Darter to have a good blocker up, but we're still just jamming in with the unblockable Herald for now. I could Crashing Tide their 3 mana 2/2 and then they just play another 3 mana 2/2 next turn. I feel like I wait till they play something for 4 or more. Ooh. Well, I mean, that's not a terrible target for Crashing Tide. They just replay it and exile Mistbinder again, but that means we know exactly what they're doing next turn, and this turn we just get to get in for damage, which is fine. Ooh, Hadana's Climb is a sweet draw. If I send this in, I trade into both these. They get their little 1/1 lifelinker in the exchange. Probably not. Probably just hold up the Darter to keep all the 2/2s off of us. Even without a Mistbinder, it's going to be a 2/3, which is enough. Alright, Bishop of Binding is back, Mistbinder is gone. And let's draw a card or just start getting counters. I'm just going to start getting counters. Keep that 2 damage a turn coming in. So the Bishop gives something +2/+2 whenever it attacks. So it has to give itself that, otherwise I'm just going to kill it with my River Darter. They are black-white vampires. And there's Luminous Bonds for Mist-Cloaked Herald. Sad day. Hadana's Climb still looking really good here to help us remain stable. At the very least. Maybe find a kill off of a flying Colossal Dreadmaw in a couple turns. Let's reveal this River Darter from our hand and then cast that. Draw into the land that we need for Dreadmaw next turn. So if I put 3 +1/+1 counters on one creature, this flips, and then I can make Dreadmaw a 12/12 flying trample and just kill them. So this turn I can put the counter wherever I want it. I could also just put it on Herald. I'm just going to put it on Mist-Cloaked Herald so that whenever I need to flip it, I can just insta-flip it. I just put the counter, the third counter on Herald, and it's flipped. But now next turn I can put the +1/+1 counter wherever I want. I think 2/2/3s is already enough to block whatever they want to do. We're looking fine here. I've got the Water Knot if they play a flyer. Voracious Vampire. Give the bishop menace. It still attacks as a 4/4, so they've got to have a combat trick too. Double white. This could be the +2/+2 trick, in which case a triple block still kills it. So I'm gonna triple block, and maybe it's a combat trick I'm not thinking of that gives more than +2/+2, and I'm about to get annihilated. But all I can think of here is Moment of Triumph. 1 white mana for +2/+2 at instant speed. That's a common. Alright, cool. If they did not have a trick at all, then it would have been better to just double block with the 2/2/3s. But I wanted to play around the common combat trick that they could have had there. Alright, so we're playing the Dreadmaw. We're putting a counter. Just put a counter on Mistbinder to protect it a little bit. And then we'll play the Dreadmaw. Our opponent definitely has an instant here because they were thinking there while we were putting counters on Mistbinder. So I feel like they do have the +2/+2 gain a couple life thing. I guess we could play around them using that to save them from Dreadmaw by having put a +1/+1 counter on the Dreadmaw, so it attacks as a 14/14. Because now they're going to be at 13 life if they cast that to gain a couple to survive the Hadana's climb. Yeah, I should have played around that. We still just win. It just takes 2 turns now. Yeah, it's going to take 2 turns to kill them. I should have put a counter on Colossal Dreadmaw. They're conceding anyway. Alright, cool. Maybe they didn't have it. Maybe they didn't have it. So yeah, obviously the play here is to flip this, and then we have the land, and we can make the Dreadmaw a 12/12 flyer and attack for 12. If they had Moment of Triumph for their 1 white mana, that'd be +2/+2 and they gain 2 life, so they'd be at 13 and they'd go to 1 and survive. But had I put the +1/+1 counter on Dreadmaw by playing it pre-combat last turn, then that would have hit for 14 this turn, and it would have played around Moment of Triumph. Looks like it doesn't matter, they do concede, so it was something else that I am not thinking of. Probably. Or it is the Moment of Triumph and they just know that they're not going to clear out the Dreadmaw anyway. Right, because if they don't kill the Dreadmaw right now, they still go to 1, and then I can give anything flying next turn and kill them with that, so... I don't know. I don't know what they had. But Hadana's Climb does some excellent, excellent work. But it was really aided by just the 1 mana, 1/1 unblockable card. If it weren't for all that early damage, it wouldn't have been a one-shot lethal like it was in the end, so... Solid stuff from the whole deck plan in general, and we are 1-0 heading into Game 2. Here we are for Game 2. We definitely need to draw some lands, but we're on the draw, which helps us get there. Plus, when we hit the 3rd land, we draw an additional card off the Crashing Tide. So I think it's a fine keep. Not an excellent one, because that is an issue that it needs to draw a lot of mana. But not as big of an issue as normal, since we are, again, on the draw, and we have a cantrip. That'll draw us an extra card to try to get there. Uh-oh. We do not draw a single land in our first 3 draw steps. That will be a big deal. A River Darter might actually be sweet here. They're red-white. Both of those are some of the dinosaur-heavy colors. Alright, we do hit the land right on time, and luckily we're not under any pressure anyway, it looks like, so really fine no matter what. I'm just going to play the Darter, because I actually just attack right past the Snubhorn Sentry. If they play a non-dinosaur, we just bounce that with the Tide and draw a card. Just keep poking them with all of our unblockable threats. They are red-white dinosaurs. I was not expecting the River Darter's abilities to be relevant basically ever, but here we are. Now I'm just going to Jade Bearer and hit them for 4. Hold up the Expel from Orazka, so if they try to damage the Raptor, to deal 5 to one of our cards, we can bounce it in response. This would have been a perfectly reasonable turn to Crashing Tide the Raptor looking for a 4th land, or to just play the Jungleborn Pioneer, but I'm just going all in on damage right now, as long as they do not have blockers. I'm going to make this clock as fast as possible. Okay, they are going to deal damage to that, so we are going to bounce that back to their hand. That's going to counter the Crown and stop them from killing anything. So really good work from Expel from Orazka. But there's a baffling end still to clear out one of our cards. They're going to get rid of the River Darter, which must mean they have literally all dinosaurs. Because otherwise, I think you just get the Herald, since it would be possible to block the River Darter later if they have some non-dinosaurs in their deck. Alright, that was really good work from Expel. I'm very happy to have had that in response to the Crown. Make that Raptor a 5/2 trample and kill one of our creatures, because they trigger its Enrage and deal 5 damage wherever they want it. That would have been gross. Okay, ooh, 5th mana for Crested Herd Caller. That is exciting to me. I'm going to do that instead of bouncing the Raptor then. If I didn't hit the land, this would be a great turn to bounce the Raptor and attack with everybody on the ground, but since we did, let's just get this board state really gross and really large. Frilled Death Spitter. That one deals 2 damage to me whenever it's dealt damage, which does not matter nearly as much as the Needletooth Raptor, so let's bounce that. I guess I can do this at instant speed, but I just want this to not be able to block, so we'll do it right now. Jade Bearer. Much as I'd love to juice up the unblockability, okay, it doesn't matter, they're going to concede anyway. I was going to say, as much as I'd love to juice up the unblockability, I think we actually want to buff one of the 1/1 Merfolk here. Otherwise, they can kill a 1/1 Merfolk without losing a creature. So buff a 1/1 and then attack for 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Probably not quite lethal because they have 2 blockers, but a really good attack. And we are now 2-0 heading into game 3. Here we are on the play for game 3. Beautiful hand again. Mist-Cloaked Herald into Merfolk Mistbinder into River Darter. Playing some darts this game. Come on, forests and plains, forests and mountains, mountains and plains. No, swamp. Alright, no unblockability from the River Darter, most likely. But we can still curve out with it, just to beat down while we're on the play. It's a moment of craving on the Mistbinder, that is sad. They gained the life as well to stay at 20 here. Very sad, actually. Poke for 1, they're down to 19. There's the Evolving Wilds to find their second color. And it will find a Plains. There's a Dusk Legion Zealot. Alright, that is not super helpful for them here. Guess it soaks up 1 damage. But it does cantrip, it does draw them their next card, dig them a little farther. Legion Conquistador, also not the greatest body ever. I guess it stacks up well against the River Darter. They can double block that now. Which I think I have to let them do, because I need to get some stuff out of the way for the Herd Caller Tramplers to get in. Yeah, you got it. Let's get a 2/2 out of the way. And then here, if they play another Conquistador, they double block 1/3/3 and take like 6 damage. They're at 6 life from there. Baffling End, alright. Same difference, basically. Send in the team. If they trade Zealot for Jade Bearer, that's fine, because then they can't double block and kill the Herd Caller. You need to stop hitting lands here. Our opponent needs to start hitting lands. We're at 2 different ends of the spectrum, really. Ooh! That's a great, great non-land card to draw. No blocks. That's very surprising. They didn't want to go 3/3 for 3/3 trade? Alright. I'm cool with it. Oh, because the Squire's Devotion, which makes it a vigilant lifelinker, that was their plan, but we can just double block it so it won't actually be up to gain life again on blocks, and yeah, there's the concession. So their plan there was by giving it lifelink, they get to hit us for 4 and gain 4, and then have it on blocks where they can block a 3/3 and gain another 4 and be super stable, but that top deck herd collar just at exactly the right time. That was close to stable for our opponent. If we didn't top deck that herd collar, the lifelinking 4/4 with vigilance was going to completely stop us in our tracks. So really happy to have drawn that well. And we're now 3-0, guaranteed at least a 50-50 run out of this draft. We will take it, but we'll also see how much farther we can take it as we head into game 4. All right, here we are on the play. No green source. We've got a double green card and 4 green cards in the hand total. Think that's a mulligan. This is not much better because I don't play the Jade Bearer till I have another Merfolk on board anyway. Can't really ditch a land with 4 drops in here. All right, these are not how we want to start our games of Magic. The luck may be catching up to us a little bit. Definitely the most mediocre hands we've drawn so far. Oh no, and we're playing against a 1-mana 2/2 from the get-go. Okay. Getting beaten down by a 4/3 first striker on turn 2. Yeah, that's definitely not ideal. The Deadeye Rig Hauler is going to be incredibly helpful here, because then we bounce it and kill the aura on it, but we're already down to 12. That is just such a start from our opponent. What are they holding up here? I don't know. It's not going to stop a Deadeye Rig Hauler. And they could blow up the River Darter, I guess. But that doesn't stop the enter the battlefield effect. They don't have a blue source. That is fine. In fact, I would rather they kill my 2/3 than my 3/2 since they're not playing dinos. So that's extra fine. I guess the 3/2 trades down into the 2/2. It is weaker than the Darter. Plus I can't Jade Bearer a counter onto it, but I can just make a really big Forerunner. Really hoping they don't find a blue source for this Death Toucher, because if they do, they just Death Touch away the Forerunner, and that's all over. Alright. Pick up any Merfolk in the deck. What do we want? Oh, they've got another Bombard now? Yikes. Probably just Mistbinder, right? Don't want to go all in on that. Maybe it's a Herald. Next turn I play Herald and Jade Bearer. Maybe it's Silvergill Adept. I will have the mana to just slam it down for 5. Kind of weird. I do kind of think I might need the value play of just playing a Silvergill Adept next turn. And I kind of want a Jade Bearer counter onto that one, because again, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Against black-red, they are likely to have just a ton of removal. So yeah, next turn I spend 2 on the Silvergill, reveal the Jade Bearer, and also cast the Jade Bearer. Vona's Hunger. Okay, just make me sack a creature, that's fine. Still no blue source. That means no Death Toucher to kill the Forerunner at least. But Chupacabra, alright, incredible card. I've said it before, but this thing is one of the greatest limited cards ever printed. It sees play in almost every cube ever. So seeing it in just a regular draft format, real gross. One of the best cards in the entire set. That is not the draw we're looking for at all. The bearer cannot put a counter on itself, so we can't have like a 2/1 and a 2/2 to try to kill both these things. Yep. Looking super dead. Still combat tricks. Still action. Ooh, okay. Do have big swings like that in our deck that we could hit. I always forget we've got double Herd Collar, and that very quickly makes up for our card disadvantage. Now we're at parity here. Maybe even slightly ahead. Right? Because these just block those all day. Great. They just have 2 more Buccaneers Bravados? No? Golden Demise, okay. Trade the whole board state off. Now they don't do anything until they hit an island. We're in a top deck war where we need them to not hit a blue source. Alright. We also ideally stop drawing lands. Well. Ooh. Could you win a top deck war any more than that? The answer is yes, because the game's not over yet. The game is not over yet. They can still very much draw out of this. Okay. Solid draws are solid. Yikes, okay. They just steal our River Darter and kill it with Angrath? Okay, yeah, never mind. You can win a top deck war more than that. Oh! This is so stupid. I was gonna say that Angrath has just single-handedly counteracted like all of our last 4 draws or something.
No fire, no steel.
But it doesn't beat Colossal Dreadmaw by itself. That's just a 2/2. In order to not die, I have to kill Angrath, otherwise they make me lose 2 and poke me for 2 and I go to -1. Or I just hold up Dreadmaw as a blocker, but if I hold up Dreadmaw as a blocker, Angrath goes multiple times. So I have to attack Angrath and let them poke me for 2. That's my only play. If I attack them, they take it, go to 4, and then kill me with these 2 cards. So I have to kill Angrath, take 2, go to 1, and never attack with Dreadmaw again. No, a menace threat? Ah! Alright, well that was stupid. Oh, that was a really swingy top deck war. We drew what I thought was incredibly for a little bit, and then our opponent hit an Angrath, which was insane. But then we still hit a Dreadmaw, which is pretty good, but then they hit menace threats, and yeah, just multiple threats in a row when we hit land after the Angrath. Alright. I mean, super high variance game, super coin flippy. It really was just who draws better. And it was surprisingly back and forth in terms of who did, but in the end it was our opponent. And we are 3-1 heading into game 5. Alright, here we are on the play for game 5 with a turn 2 Silvergill Adept to get things going. Got a Forerunner as well to get a bunch of counters. This Snubhorn Sentry might be helpful to us because that means that these darters might get past at least one of their creatures for free. Curious Obsession, Snubhorn Sentry, well shoot. I guess they draw 1 card, but then I just play a 1/4. Get my treasure. That way I have more merfolk to play after the Forerunner. Yeah, I can't really afford to just chump block with an Adept to stop them from drawing 1 card, because then we're down 1 card, it's kind of the same difference. So I am going to poke them for 1 while I play this Sailor of Means, and we're hoping the Sailor blocks the Snubhorn, which has to attack for that Curious Obsession to even stick around, so they have to just bounce off each other here, or lose the Curious Obsession. Alright. A bouncing we go. Oop. Okay, and thanks to playing Sailor instead, we can play a Herd Caller here, which now gives us more than enough threats, more than enough power, to just kill the Snubhorn Sentry if it attacks again, and if it doesn't attack, then we've killed the Curious Obsession anyway, which was the goal. Crashing Tide, a token, is a pretty good deal for our opponent, but that Snubhorn is still a goner. Well, unless they've got a 2-mana bounce spell, but they don't kill one of our creatures by doing that. Moment of Triumph, alright, gross. Actually perfect. Madonna's Climb or a Forerunner. I can only do one thing here. I think I want to get the Climb out for as long as possible. I'm one land draw away from double spelling, though. I could also double spell with River Darter, River Darter. And if I play the Forerunner and put a Merfolk on top, I guess if I grab a 2-mana Merfolk, we can just double spell next turn with whatever combination we want. So I guess we should do that for mana efficiency. They've got 8 permanents on board. If they play 2 more permanents, then that Snubhorn's a 4/4. Oh my god. How I would love to draw one of my bounce spells. I mean, we're absolutely just killing the heck out of that. Goodbye Forerunner of the Heralds, but also goodbye Snubhorn Sentry and this gigantic stack of auras. They're tapped out completely. Yeah, absolutely. They've got 2 cards left in hand. We should be able to break through 2 cards with these 4. Yeah. I don't think we need Forerunner of the Heralds to win this game. If we clear that thing out, everything on our board is just insignificant. So just these 2 spells have to be really good to break through these, because these are some really good spells over here. Alright, Spirewinder's a good start, but Hadana's Climb can give us flyers. Do I want to just juice up the Sailor till it has 3 counters on it? I want to have the option of flipping Hadana's Climb ASAP, so I will put the counter on the Sailor. That's a draw. Yeah, let's flip it. We are very much out racing now, unless they counter the Herd Caller. I think even with just the Winged Temple, we're out racing them, and if we're ever not, we can use it on the defensive and just throw something into the sky to block the Spirewinder. Alright, cool. Hadana's Climb is enough to defeat the 2 cards in hand in their top decks, because their top decks seem to be mostly lands there, so solid luck in the end there, but great work really from Hadana's Climb yet again. It's just a fantastic card. So we are now 4-1, I believe, heading into game number 6. Oh, Crested Herd Caller Dream Team. That's 4 3/3 dinos with trample. Who can break through all that? Let's do this. We are on the draw, so maybe they'll out aggro us with something insane. But 4 3/3s with trample out of just two of the cards in our hand is kind of wild. Very into that. We've also got another 2-for-1, the Silvergill Adept. This is just pretty gross all around. Turn 1 Daring Buccaneer. Oh god, I shouldn't have said anything about out aggroing, because they're going to play a 1-mana 2/2 into a 2-mana 2/1 menace, and we're just never blocking all day? That's untrue. Silvergill Adept trades into the 2/2 and draws us a card at the same time, which is great. Oh, Sailor of Means is a fantastic draw too. Now we only need to draw a single land, and then we're going to play a Crested Herd Caller on turn 4, and that should really help stabilize against a super aggressive deck like this. So yeah, if I can Sailor next turn into Herd Caller the turn after, that will be awesome. Even against multiple menace cards. Yeah, I'm going for it. I'm playing the Sailor of Means, hoping for that top deck land here. Worst case scenario, I can double block one of the menace cards now, but if they've got a bunch of Buccaneers Bravados, that's going to be really gross. +1/+1 double strike, kill both our creatures. Uh-oh, they hit their second color now. Red-black. But if they have Bravados, they just attack with everybody here. And if I don't hit the land, we're dead, basically. Buccaneers Bravado, of course, the +1/+1 double strike combat trick, but it only works on pirates. That looks like Buccaneers Bravado to me, and I'm fairly certain I'm a very dead man. I guess I could put a sailor under the Buccaneer as well, but if it is Buccaneers Bravado, then I'm just losing 2 creatures for no reason. Okay. It is not Bravado, but also we missed the land, so we're probably dead. I guess I can Crashing Tide. It's only 3 damage on board if I Crashing Tide one of the menace cards, and that also draws towards a land. Doesn't draw a land, though. God, there's 14 still in here. 14 out of 27, more than half our deck. So we've lost a few coin flips here that have been real pivotal. I don't think I can just put a 1/1 on this board at the cost of our treasure. I guess it threatens a double block on a menace card and we only lose the 1/1. But then I'm just further from these herd collars. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have double blocks on board. Land 4 from our opponent. They kept a mono-colored 2-lander and they hit land 4 before us. That's so disappointing. And they cast 0 card draw. Yeah. That's a nightmare. Kill the 1/1, play another menace creature. I can't block anything. I'm down to 9. Maximum punishment for playing the 1/1. God. Jesus Christ. I was hoping at least maybe I can get like some good luck to counteract all this and draw into an island here and play the Herald. Wow. Neckbreaker was the next play, so I feel like even if I held the treasure to play Herd Caller, I'm so dead now. Good grief. Yeah, well, that was obnoxious. If we hit every land drop on curve, we had a chance with double Herd Caller, but that was just the dream team curve of nothing but menace from the Pirates deck into the Pirate Lord. Yeah, not much of a game there. We are 4-2 heading into Game 7. Here we are on the play for Game 7. We got that Miscloaked Herald game plan. The Herald plus the Bear plus a Hadana's Climb to juice it up. All in for damage early with some pieces of interaction later. Jade Bear is really good here, because it's buffing up the Herald and holding their 2/1 off. Worst case scenario, trading into a combat trick. Okay. Land 3. I don't feel the need to interact with these 2/1s, so let's just play the Hadana's Climb. I don't actually think I want to flip it that quickly this game, so I might not put another counter on Herald next turn. If I hit land 4, I'm definitely playing an Artisan and putting a counter on probably Jade Bear, maybe the Artisan. Ooh, Mistbinder? Kind of like attempting to put a counter on that to keep it out of range of them top decking a Moment of Craving. If they already have the Moment of Craving, it's just going to die right now, but we'll see. If it doesn't die, then we do get 4 damage off unblockably, even if I don't put a counter on the Herald. Reaver ambush. Okay, so that still would have killed it. Even with the counter on it later. There's luminous bonds on the Mist-Cloaked Herald. I could Crashing Tide my own Mist-Cloaked Herald. All these Sky Marcher aspirants to trade my Jade Bearer into. Very cute. So I can't cast anything unless I flip the Climb. I could flip the Climb and then use it as a land to cast Forerunner of the Heralds. Alternatively, all I'm doing is Crashing Tiding a 1-mana spell, which could be my own. I could Crashing Tide my Mist-Cloaked Herald, I guess, which is cute. Especially if I top deck an island, then it's really cute. But we've got no confirmation we'll do that. We are trying to hit land 4 pretty badly, so we either guarantee land 4 by flipping the Climb into it, or we attempt to top deck land 4 off a Crashing Tide. I think I'm just going to lock in on land 4 here. I'm going to play a guaranteed play. And then giving the Forerunner flying trample on a future turn could just get a kill, like, instantly. I think we take a Jungleborn Pioneer or just a 1/1 unblockable. I kind of want to just take a 1/1 unblockable. Because I can cast that and one of my 3-drops in the same turn. It's pretty mana efficient. This is any color, right? Yeah, it's a mana of any color, so I can have triple blue to go Water Knot plus Mist-Cloaked Herald if I need. Bold attacks. Bold attacks against the Winged Temple. I mean, yeah, we're going for the outrace here. They're down to 7. I can give the Forerunner +4/+4 flying trample next turn. If they do not have instant speed removal, they just lose. If they do have instant speed removal, it's better 4, 5, 6 to just play a Jade Bearer, and that's already threatening lethal, and then I have an instant speed Crashing Tide if we don't manage to get there. This is 5, 6, 7. This is 8 damage on board. Should have put this on the Herald. I just got a little overexcited about lethal on board. Okay, they do have the instant speed removal. So this was the better way to play, and thanks to instant speed Crashing Tide, it still locks us in for the victory. Unless they top deck very well. Because they are playing off the top. Okay, poke for 4, go to 4. Dusk Charger. Okay, so I kill that. This does give trample, right? Oh, this doesn't give trample. Okay, well, it doesn't matter because we hit another Crashing Tide. Okay. Let me think. So we wouldn't have lethaled if we didn't hit that Crashing Tide, right? Because then I would have had to... No, we would have still lethaled. We could have Jadecraft Artisan and buffed the unblockable Herald. And they could block the Jade Bear and take 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had 2 different lines to lethal there on that last turn, so we were good either way. Alright, scary game, really close one. But we do get to outrace there with just a stack of bounce spells, and Hadana's Climb doing pretty nasty stuff again. This time in a very different way. We just really needed the 4th land, and being able to flip it to guarantee that was quite nice. And we are now 5-2, guaranteed in the money out of this draft, no matter what happens from here. Here we are for game 8. New game, same game plan. Mist-Cloaked Herald turn 1 every time. Let's poke and then choose what we want to do. Well, I mean, we know what we want to do, but let's give our opponent less information. I'm going to cast Forerunner before I cast Artisan, so we'll reveal that. Ooh. Ooh, Warkite Marauder is an incredible card. I'm going to play the Sailor to guarantee Forerunner mana. Well, if I Mistbinder, I just get aggressive here. You know what? I'm going to Mistbinder, actually. Yeah, Warkite Marauder was one of my favorite rares from the format. It's super, super good in pirate decks. It's also incredible in just flyer decks in general. Because every time it attacks, it turns a blocker into just a 0/1 with no text. So even once your opponent establishes a flying blocker against it, they can just shut it off every turn with the Warkite Marauder and still get in. So I really like that card. I think it's incredible. All right, now we're just going to guarantee we've got a 4th mana for one of these. Because a 3/4 River Darter still does not get past Sailor of Means anyway. Super happy the Silvergill Adept traded with that Warkite Marauder. But our opponent is on the defensive here, so it was fair from their perspective as well. Alright, naturally hit that 4th land so we can keep the treasure for something else. I don't really want to bounce a Sailor of Means, so let's just drop the Forerunner post-combat, I guess. Reaver ambush the Mistbinder. Sadness. And play more unblockable threats, or put a counter on one of them. Or just get more blockers of my own with the Pioneer. Pioneer juices up the Forerunner the most, but one counter is already enough to be pretty juiced here. I'm gonna grab another unblockable threat. It'd be really annoying. Got exactly enough to play it and a 4-drop here thanks to the treasures. Impale the Forerunner, fair. Fair play, opponent, fair play. Artisan gives +2/+2, so that's just going to make Herald hit a little harder right now. Not the most exciting. I think I'd rather just play Herald plus Darter. +2/+2 on River Darter might actually matter, because that would make it a 4-power creature to attack into the Sailor of Means. Ew. That's not the worst. This is a 2-for-1. They killed 2 of my 1-drops at the cost of their 3-drop. So many Chupacabras. Busto magic card. We have no Rig Hauler targets here, that is for certain. Well, we're a little ahead in cards somehow still. We'll take it. I guess because we only hit 4 lands this game. That's probably why. 3 for 5 power. It's got enough toughness off of just the Artisan to attack an already. 5 toughness. Yeah, get in there, River Darter, I guess. Keep this treasure. In case we draw a Crested Herd Collar or a Colossal Dreadmont. Ooh. Start dying to a Slippery Scoundrel because there is no way to interact with that. Alright, so now I get to make the Artisan a 4/4 so it can keep attacking in every single turn. Which is nice. They can double block the River Darter, but I get to kill Chupacabra if they do that. Which is potentially bad for me. Like, if they have Recover, that's really bad for me. Recover on Chupacabra is really nasty. Probably the best little black combo they can have. They're at 5 life? Am I just going full aggro? I'm gonna go full aggro. I'm gonna bounce the Sailor of Means. just because it gives me another threat on the board, and then I just bounce something and attack with my whole board next turn. Because it might just be, especially if they attack with the Scoundrel, it might just be 1 or 2 blockers over there after a Crashing Tide. Oh, well, that explains attacking with the Scoundrel. Pick up the Artisan, I guess? I mean, all our creatures have entered the battlefield effects as well, except the River Darter. So it is awkward choices for our opponent. They choose the Rig Hauler, and then they play the Sailor. So if I Crashing Tide one of their cards, they block 2 of my creatures and take 2, they're at 3 life. I think I would rather just hold it up at instant speed then. Thanks to having Merfolk on board, because they might try to double block and kill the 4/4, and then we get really good work done with this. Or I can kill the Rig Hauler without losing a creature. Just whittling away their board state until we can get in for 3. They're still attacking with Scoundrel. Still sending a message if nothing else. Yeah, they top decked a Corsair, so they've got enough creatures to do that. They have to double block Artisan with both of those to kill it, so I don't think they do that. So we send these in, and the Sailor. Send in the Jade Bearer. Then they go block, kill for free. Block, kill for free. Chump, chump, take 1. I think I do, because it's like 2 chumps here. If they kill the Jade Bearer for free. Alright, yeah, this looks beautiful to me. I think I should have been doing this earlier, but I will definitely do it now. I actually just bounced my own creature to get another +1/+1 counter. I just now reread Rig Hauler and realized it can bounce our own creatures. I should have definitely done that earlier instead of bouncing more of their sailors when I was playing my Rig Haulers. Does not matter in the end. They do not draw out of this board, and we are 6-2, very much in the money out of this draft. And even heading into the final battle, win or lose, the last game of Magic for today. Here we are on the play for the final boss. Certainly need to draw a land. 6-drop in hand is awkward too, but it's both of our colors, and 1 land gets us to Sailor, which gets us to Rig Hauler, and Crashing Tide cycles closer to a land. We don't hit 1 land in our first few draw steps, it's going to be real awkward, but if we do, it's looking very reasonable. Uh-oh. My second most expensive card in the deck. That's not what you want to see on the 2-lander. Oh no. My third most expensive card in the deck. Let's just go down the chain. Let's keep hitting 5s and 4s, I guess. Yeah, at least our opponent's on a mono black start, so they kept a risky hand as well. Okay. Sailor of Means it up. Well, they found their white source. And a Sanguine Glorifier to buff up the Menacer. Probably bounce the Menacer then. Ooh, unless I get to play Herd Caller this turn. That's pretty tempting. Although, if I can save this treasure towards getting to a Dreadmaw, that's probably worth it. So let's just Rig Hauler the Vampire. They get 1 menace swing in with the Glorifier instead this turn, but then they don't have the +1/+1 counter anymore. Plus, I can just kill that at the cost of my 3/2, which is the exact same as what would have happened if I single blocked it when it was a 3/3. Yeah, if they don't have a combat trick, this is still just a really good block for me. Moment of triumph. Alright, that is actually really gross. Okay, we hit the natural mana to play the Dreadmaw. I think I'd rather play Herd Caller in this kind of matchup, because they are likely to have really good single target removal to just impale my Dreadmaw. So I want to try to get them to expend all that removal before I play just one really big creature. So we're a bit behind in cards here. We got 2 for 1 pretty bad by the combat trick. Oh my god. They have an endless stack of menace. It looks like we could try to 2 for 1 them right back with these Herd Caller blocks at least. Yep, that traded into one of their creatures, and now the other 3/3 is going to trade into another one of their creatures. So I think that's how we try to pull things back a bit. Play another 3/3 probably. Right now. I could play a 2/3 and hold up Crashing Tide if they try to do tricks again. I bounce something at instant speed. That actually seems pretty viable. Having instant speed Crashing Tide up is really, really nice. The Paladin's actually very good against the 1/1 unblockable, because it means it's just going to keep getting bigger every time I hit them. But I can Crashing Tide that if I don't need to use Crashing Tide as a trick. Three, 1 flyer. Shoot. Really not good. I guess I bounce that, and we just try to Dreadmaw block the Paladin from doing anything. I just can't keep hitting with the Heralds when this thing's on board. Yeah, we just play a Dreadmaw and pass. Paladin of Atonement is actually just like, feels like an incredible like sideboard card against 1 mana 1/1 unblockable threats. Their deck is just really well positioned here. And again, black and white, the colors with so many ways to just 1 for 1 removal of giant creatures also just super well positioned. And now they're going to have another combat trick and the game's over. No, we actually get rid of the Paladin. Nice. They have Recover though? No, Martyr Dusk. Alright, we still have outs then if we find our Crested Herd Caller. Our second copy. That can get us closer to stable, but then we're still dying to this unblockable 3/1 in the sky. More +1/+1 counters, just more ETB value town stuff here. It still just trades into a 3/3. They obviously top decked the Glorifier, so they shouldn't have a trick here. Okay, we traded a 3/3 into a 3/3 menace. Gotta stop hitting lands. Yep. I mean, we're really far behind on board. Just the all attack button looks disgusting. Two blockers on the ground, that's exact lethal. Block, block, take 3, 4, 5. That is game. All right. A loss in the final round. I think our opponent just had a really good matchup against our deck for the most part. We got pretty hard by a combat trick, but I don't think we could have really gotten around that. Putting our opponent in a favorable position no matter what. Yeah, I don't think there was a ton we could do there. 6-3 is where it's going to end, which is a very solid record for this deck. I think this is a pretty average Merfolk deck generally. The Hadana's Climb is incredible. This is a great bomb. It won us a lot of games. But what makes the deck average is that we have a few like really high card quality cards like Crested Herdcaller and Hadana's Climb in here randomly. Mistbinder and Silvergill Adept. But bringing it down to the average, dragging it down to the average, whatever you want to say, are some more filler cards like the Triple River Darter here. The Jadecraft Artisan felt a little filler. The Dreadmaw doesn't make the most sense in this deck, so a little bit of filler here. If these were more premium cards like Mistbinders and Silvergills and Jungleborn Pioneers, maybe another Mistcloaked Herald, something like that, more Crashing Tides, that card was incredible, then this would be a pretty above average, pretty great Merfolk deck. But I think it's right about the average, so a 6-3 run, still very, very nice today, and I will absolutely take it. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video and you're interested in seeing more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.